about to watch a Patreon live stream. If you're interested in participating in a future Patreon live stream, you should definitely consider joining my community at patreon.com/Abbey Normal's Wisdom Quest. Hey, Joe, you're number one. Thank you so much for coming. I'm so happy to see you. Okay, let's see who else might come today. I actually have, from the previous live stream, written down some of the requests that I didn't get to. Hi, Dylan. Welcome. So happy to see you. I'm opening up my chat box. Oh, I'm giving you both hugs. Thank you so much for coming. I was just telling Joe that there were a lot of requests in the previous live stream. So I'm going to be going through those ones that I couldn't do. And then we'll see what we can fit in with the rest of our time if we can. So it's going to be pretty exciting today. What's up, you guys? Anything interesting going on? I'm literally doing things here. Okay. All right, so I'm going to do Joelle first. Joelle, you had said, if there's time, Abby, would you tap into some prime dragon energy? I'm going to do that. You know, I just got into Rick and Morty. I just got into it. I'm so glad I'm just getting into it now because there's 5 seasons and I love it. And I just watched the episode about the soul bonding and the dragons. It's not necessarily kid appropriate, but it's like it's hilarious. I love that show. It's really good. It's really funny. All right, so I'm going to be connecting with some prime dragon energy. I just watched that episode yesterday, so this is really interesting timing. All right, and Delinda, you were mentioning, and this is something I'm so interested in checking out myself. Okay, I'm just going to read. I located the chat, the original chat from the live stream last week. So you wrote, Abby, I would love to connect to this observation from NASA. According to NASA, Oumuamua was the first known interstellar object to visit our solar system that was discovered October 19th, 2017. Oumuamua. Ooh. I don't know how to pronounce it. Oumuamua. Oumuamua. Okay. The first known interstellar object. Okay. All right. Now, Dylan, you had said Hugh Everett was one of your favorite physicists as well. And Kyle, you were requesting Adam and Eve. So, Dylan, you say channel Pickle Rick. You know what? I've been wanting to channel Rick. I so want to channel Rick. I want to channel Rick and Morty. Oh my gosh, thank you for saying that. Like, you giving me permission to go to Rick from Rick and Morty is so great. Usually people don't relate when I do journeys into fictional characters, but I'm telling you, fictional characters, we channel them from somewhere in the universe. So we are introducing ourselves to other consciousness through what we would define as fictional characters. But your third eye is part of your imagination, and your third eye work together. That's why people who are amazing writers are channeling information from other dimensions. All right, let me see here. Dylan, you were also saying, oh yeah, also Hugh Everett from last time. Also, if we're doing space stuff, I want to check out the Great Attractor. It's a spot where all the local galaxies are going towards. Oh my God. Never heard of it. Maybe we could ask Rick. We could ask Pickle Rick. Hey, Pickle Rick. Well, we got to ask Rick, but we got to ask him about being a pickle. But we could ask him about that too. That'd be so cool to interconnect those. All right, I'm going to get into this. We're going to do dragons. We're going to start with dragons. Okay. Thank you guys so much for coming. So happy to have you. All right, Joelle, thank you for this request. All right, prime dragon energy. See what comes up here. Hmm. Okay. I could look through the eyes of the dragon, or I could look into the eyes of the dragon. I will say the tone here is serious. So all the exciting Rick jokes and things are just like toning down, and it's turning into something serious here. And the dragon eyes are like crystals, and they're yellow in color. It's interesting because the more I look at the eyes of this representation of a dragon, they keep indicating that if I were to kill this dragon and remove its eyes, I would actually have stones. And the stones are unlike anything. I mean, they're like magical jewels. You could use them in some kind of wizarding dimension. They're really, really bright yellow. They're like neon yellow, and they glow. Hmm. I'm telling this dragon, my gosh, it's so serious. I'm having a hard time adapting so that I can actually communicate with you, because I have to become serious in order to interpret what the serious message is. Otherwise, I'm just like this hysterical person prancing around a serious dragon. It doesn't work. All right, I'm working on becoming serious. Okay, so, all right, so we have this initial introduction. I'm going to go into the next scene, okay? Not easy to interpret this either. Basically, everything is black, but coming through the black, there's a strange troll-like thing. It does have some fur. It does have some kind of skin. It's a yellowish green color. The fur is actually purpley blue. And it has a giant horn that comes out of its forehead. And it's more like a rhinoceros horn, like a tusk type. It kind of curves more than like a unicorn horn. It has really skinny long arms and skinny long legs. It kind of has a koala bear face. And this thing is walking towards me from the darkness, and it's acting kind of I guess the word that comes to me is lackadaisical. He's kind of like he could be whistling to himself or whistling to me, it doesn't matter, but it's almost like he's trying really hard to get my attention, but not at the same time, while being really laid back. I don't feel anything moody here, anything uncomfortable, but I feel like there is something hidden, and that hidden thing is an insecurity. I'm going to walk through this image and just go straight into the darkness. The next thing that comes to me is that the world needs to break a really massive shell, because there's a lot of old ancient dragon spirits, and we're not able to work with, I mean, there's just so much ancient energy, and we have to work through the layers of our collective, and then some of that stuff will get buried until it will be reborn or released again for us to access it. And right now there's energies that are still in the earth that recall or remember times of dragons, literally our current earth, okay? And these aren't dinosaurs. And it actually has a relationship with magical time as well, our current earth. Now they're showing me, and I'm talking lots of spirits of dragons are showing me many layers of the planet, and we still have to break through these layers, and that from breaking them down, we will release a new sort of energy into our air, and that energy is directly connected to them. And what remains of them is memory. Basically, what remains of them is memory. There's no I'm not coming across materials, because the materials aren't what matters. It's the memory that matters. They want me to continue to go deeper. I mean, they're showing me how you tap into true dragon energy, and you have to go deep and you have to go serious. I mean, being lighthearted is one thing, you know, being bright and serious is that lighthearted, or is that deep and bright? I mean, I'm going deep and bright here, but it doesn't matter because it's the depth and the openness to being connected with depth. I mean, if you're really wanting to work with ancient dragon energy, you really need to go into a deep place and a silent place, and you need to keep moving through whatever weird stuff comes in front of your face. You know, it's like I could teach anybody how to do meditation. There's always going to be weird stuff that comes that's trying to distract you. And sometimes that weird stuff could be part of the message, part of something more. Okay. How are you going to be able to tell? All you can do is work with what comes and then see what your interpretation is inside, what it's guiding you to do. Maybe inside you don't know what it means. It's not really telling you much else. So just ignore it. Don't worry about it. Keep moving. Keep moving. And so if you really want to tap in and work with the deep dragon wisdom, man, I'm telling you, deep dragon energy, you have to keep going and you have to keep going deep. But you can work with it. I mean, how do I want to say this? Anybody can open up to it at any level of awareness. So for me to open up to it, for me to feel a true connection with it, I feel like I want to go deep inside myself. And that is the deepest place that I can feel genuinely tuned into something remotely close to what they represent. And if I tap into the dragon at some level, that's kind of, it's not self-reflective. It's not going through the journey of life. It's afraid to look at oneself in the mirror, you know, that type of stuff. Dragons are freaking deep. If you want to work with a dragon, you got to go deep, but they will connect with you at any level. I mean, they're showing me that. The reason why I am called to go deep and I'm called to go here is because my soul relates to that and my soul values that. I'm telling you, I don't know why this is really important on the level that I feel. I feel so intense and I don't even feel like I'm doing it justice, you know? I just want to say intense words, but I don't know what the words are to really give them justice as to what they're representing here. So let me go back to the original scene where we got to break down these layers. I mean, they show me layers that are around the planet to unlock layers that are within the planet. It's kind of crazy, but it has to do with us. It has to do with what we are wanting to open up to and what we are wanting to grow, you know, what directions and ways we want to grow as a collective. All right, one of you dragons. I mean, they're all in the dark here. I show him that apparently I took those eyeballs out and I carried them with me, and I have 2 yellow stones in my hand. And they're actually in the shape of 2 yellow stars. And there's one here that has really intense, like reddish purple skin. Doesn't seem to have scales though. Seems to have more like skin, and has really intense, like turquoise blue eyes. And it has kind of wisps that come off the side. And these are like, not like snake-like dragons. These are more like medieval-like dragons. And I hand the 2 eyes to him. I put them in his hand. He crushes them into a yellow powder. And then he blows the powder upon me and I inhale it into my body. And he just gave me the spirit of this dragon. This dragon, what he's saying is the dragon chose to give his life to me. So, I mean, he literally shows me the dragon dies. The dragon, all right, I'm coming in. I'm looking at this dragon. Am I in the dragon or am I looking into the dragon? Only to be really mesmerized by these eyes. I didn't even know that I took them with me. I didn't even know I went that way. I'm just going into the dark, the next layer of all of this, to see some quirky thing, move through that to get to something deeper. And all the while I had these in my hand. But really the message is saying that this dragon died for me, gave me these 2 eyes as a gift. And now I have acquired this soul energy. The dragons are very giving of something deep here. And maybe that's what I was, I mean, that dragon show, that dragon episode in Rick and Morty is about soul bonding, and they kind of make it silly, you know? But I'm telling you, it's not silly at all. It's so freaking serious. I mean, it is the most profound gift anyone could ever receive. It's almost like I don't even know what to say. I feel like stepping aside to have you guys imagine receiving. I mean, if the human race had a different relationship with generosity, it had nothing to do with money, or society has something to do with something deep and spiritual, soul level stuff. Understanding the energetic vibration of your own body and your spirit energy, and then giving that to somebody. How would you choose to use that? How would you honor that soul that gave that to you? How would you be grateful for something like this? You see why going deep is so much more valuable? Because if we just stay at the thinner layer of awareness here, we're missing out on true depth, true value. I feel like I'm connected to all these dragons in this deep place now. And I mean, they're kind of in a timeout in a way. They're part of the earth, they're part of the memory. They're still active energies, but they're kind of in a rusting phase. There's one that has even what is like a lion's mane. I mean, there's not what it's, some of them have hair. The more I choose to stay down there and choose to really tune in, the more I'm able to see, the more I'm able to receive. And dragons are incredibly generous on a soul level. That is unbelievable to what a human being. I mean, let's think about Christmas presents from Toys R Us versus going into the depths of the dragon lair in the memories of the ancient earth and receive the soul of a dragon that you just can inhaled to be a part of your own soul journey in this life. Like, I mean, let's weigh here the thinner relationship with gift giving at Christmas versus this, you know? Now imagine if we're all working at that level, what would the human race be like? This is what I meant to share about that. I feel like I've only skimmed the surface, and I don't know if I've done these dragons justice, because that was very profound. It's okay. I mean, everything in time, you know, they're in no rush. They're in no hurry. They're timeless. And they're always here for us. Always. Always. I mean, that's literally this vibe. Incredible. Thank you, Joelle, for that. That was really amazing. Amanda, Lush, welcome. Thank you so much for coming. I just tapped into some prime dragon energy. I'm going to check out Delinda's request from last week. I'm going to just reread this. Abbey, I would love to connect to this observation from NASA. According to NASA, okay, that thing was the first known. So I'm going to tap into the first known interstellar object to visit our solar system, discovered October 19th, 2017. Okay. All right. Amanda, you say that was amazing. Thank you. So glad to hear it. Okay. First known interstellar object to visit our solar system discovered October 19th. Okay. Why am I it's like no 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 no. Basically saying no over and over again. And it's man, is it loud. It's like you're baseball and you're the first pitch and you're going to be thrown whether you are ready for it or not. And no matter how you say no and try to avoid, you're going for it. You're going through, you're going straight ahead. And that's the energy is like in a state of echoing no, constantly echoing no, like avoidance, resistance. My God, it's a living thing. Even if it's space junk, if it was just some metal crap, it is has the spirit of some kind of living thing with it. Okay. I mean, I am picking up on a total energy body here. This is very distorted between time and space because I'm trying to put pieces of it back together again. I'm just going to touch the soul because I mean it's in a panic. It's screaming. It's saying no, 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 and it's like being thrown, and it's screaming for this to not happen, and it's stuck in that. And I just see parts of it are here and parts of it are missing the soul. Okay. But I can feel the total energy body. I'm just trying to bring it together, but it doesn't want to be put together because it's too loud. It's too scared. And it's stuck in that. All right, I'm going to have to throw some random ideas out. Okay. Some ideas that come to me. They kind of show me a Star Trek episode, which I don't know which one. But imagine you're testing out some kind of it's been a while since I watched Star Trek, but you know how they do like the beam me up, Scotty. Imagine you're testing out something like this. But it seems to be an orb shape and it shoots the orb out of a much larger structure. And when the orb gets shot out, it seemed like there was a malfunction at the part where the orb's getting shot out. And it's almost like it happened so quick or so surreal that it could disappear at the speed of it being shot out. They're saying that's not quite correct, that it doesn't disappear, but it does get shot out quite quickly. But it didn't feel like it doesn't feel like it got shot out correctly. And it seemed to have been known from within inside the sphere that it wasn't going to get shot out correctly right at the moment. And there was no going back. So it was done. It was a done deal. Imagine you're ready for this. And then suddenly, right at the countdown 10, 9, 8, all the way down to one blast off, right at the blast off, it was suddenly aware that no, something's not right. And then a thing happened. It just seems to have happened only with this structure. And I mean, where this comes from, it feels quite peaceful. It feels quite, it feels like it has a flow and a rhythm and it's nice. It feels nice to me. That's part of the pieces of this puzzle. And that's part of the pieces. So me just talking about this is already starting to bring more of the soul energy back. So it's not in pieces now. I'm starting to see more of it come with to fill with light. It doesn't have grayed out areas. I'm gonna go into that ship. That's what it's like. I'm gonna go into the original ship. I'm so attracted to going to this because it is so, it's like happy. Oh, I'm so attracted, like not the sphere that wasn't ready yet, you know. But it's like the ship is so happy. I feel like crying, you know, like so happy I made it. Like it's the feeling of, let's say that um you're trying to leave Cuba and come to the States, and it's like life or death, and you're in the most extreme hardship to try to cross the ocean, and people are dying in the process, and there's so many extremes, and you don't know if you're ever going to see land again, or if you're going to die in the ocean, and then you see land and you just freaking want to touch the sand and bawl your eyes out because you're just so happy, you know. I feel without the calamity involved, without the scary from, you know, Cuba to the States, you know, some kind of like insane trip that would be so hard and scary and such a jeopardy of life, you know. I feel minus that heavenly state of, oh my God, there's land. I see land again for the first time. I didn't even know if I would see it again. I feel that freaking blessed to be on this ship right now. The energy is just pure light. It almost like it's a heart of its own kind, and it just radiates in every direction. You know what? I don't even experience there necessarily having to be physical beings. I don't know. I feel a lot of soul energy, but it feels like it's I mean, imagine if it's just a structure. I don't know what drives it. I don't know what wills it, but it's alive. And I feel like many souls are attracted to its light. I'm going to just hang out here for a minute. It's so beautiful. I mean, it's unimaginable. Okay, now that I'm inside the light, I'm shown another scene. And this is where things feel uncomfortable again, and I start to cry and I'm scared. And the light isn't the same. It doesn't vibrate the same, and things aren't right. There's something not right. It's like the light isn't able to sustain itself, like it's not able to stay. And I start to see that the ship does contain bodies, you could say, okay? Are these bodies awake? Are they sleeping? I do feel it though. I feel like a gray sensation just comes over me when the light starts to fade. I feel like I'm dying, like the light in my heart is being sucked out of my heart, and what remains, I don't know. I don't know how to describe what that pain is. It's not like our earth world where we feel depressed and things. This is like you feel benevolent light in your heart. Somebody takes a straw and sucks all that light out, and you feel gray. The only way you can describe is you feel gray. It feels not good. It feels not good. Okay. I'm just drying up inside. I'm a skinny, dried up bean. Like I feel sickly. I feel dying. I feel dead and dying. I start to see strange beings that are kind of disoriented, and they're starting to move around, and they're kind of like that thing I saw in the dark as I was going to the dragons. But this is no fur at all. And I don't really understand their bone structure because it doesn't look like they have kneecaps, because they have very long, elongated, skinny legs, and have very flat feet. Like they don't have any toes. It's just really flat feet. They are organic. They're not like robots or anything. They're gray skinned. They are not like gray alien beings. Their very legs are so skinny, and their arms are really skinny too. And he can't really open his eyes, and he's having a hard time breathing, not because the environment doesn't support it, but the light is gone. The light's fading out. When the light fades out, it's like their survival depends on the light, and when the light fades out, they're dying. And I go to this guy and I say, he's ignoring me. He pushes a button is what it's like, and something appears here. And he does some more things. It just seems to be happening in front of him on the floor because he's not able to stand anymore. He's now, it's like he's suffocating, like he's now losing consciousness and falling asleep on the floor. There's a lot of others just going through the same process. I see this whole structure is shut down. This whole structure is all the lights are out. And it just sits kind of scary and empty. What was so bright and surreal, beautiful is now just stopped, like the heart just stopped beating. I'm going back to the original soul energy, and it's coming to life more than it was even. Doesn't feel like saying no over and over and over again. Doesn't feel like it's in a panic. It's asking me to take it back to that structure, please. I mean, it's really polite. It's like, please take me back to that structure. It's just very solemn about it, and doesn't have all of his pieces back yet, but I'm taking him back. I feel like there's a message as to why this was attracted to Earth, why this was attracted to our solar system. This is making my throat and my third eye really tight. I tell him I can't get him back there. I'm trying to go back, and it's like, it's a dead thing. You don't want to go back to that dead thing, because I see that it opened up basically a dimension of hell. I literally see on one side a physical, strange physical object that has all these beings, these elongated beings just in the floor now. And inside of it, like basically through it interdimensionally, I see it opened a gateway of hell. And the light turned inside out, basically. I say, okay, he wants, I mean, he's okay with that dimension of hell. He says, yes, take me. I need to see it. Oh man. They're all lost in here. I mean, they're all so confused. I mean, I just see these forms just like touching black, and they're trying to find their way to the light, and they can't. The light is gone. And this soul knows what to do. Soul knows what to do. It's like it's just remembering. It's remembering the light, and it brings a memory of the light with it. It's accepting that it died. It's accepting that the light changed with the structure. It's accepting that, and it's accepting that it's a memory now. It's not, it's able to, it's able to catch up, and it's going into the dark rip. Basically, it's just a dark rip, and it's really gross in here energetically. And he's not, this being, this energy, his soul isn't afraid, but really emanates the same as these others. All right, I'm supposed to do something else. I'm not sure. I'm going to just take the space junk as though it is an object, and I'm going to bring it back to this big, massive thing. Okay, like this object. I'm just going to bring all this back. I'm just going to bring it all back. Okay, and we're just going to connect it to this thing. Even if I can do this just only in the energy world, that's enough. So, okay, this piece is going back, and this structure remembers it. Structure feels like it's received a part of its wholeness, but it's like somebody cut your leg off. You'll never really be the same again. I asked this big structure if it remembers anything. The best I could describe was like a ball and that's going to be shot out. And then no, 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 no. What does it remember about that? Is it, what is it? Could it help me understand that more? What does it know about the soul? What does it know about the rip? What does it know about any of this stuff? I show it that I'm from Earth. Shows me that it's now in our Earth atmosphere. Just like literally, it is just suddenly there now. And it is absorbing and understanding everything about our planet, everything. And it's processing. It's like a computer in a way too. It's thinking really deeply, and the entire structure becomes a consciousness. And all those bodies are still kind of in the rip. And then this full consciousness is huge. It's just a very large being that is made out of black. And he's thinking really deeply about what Earth means, the event that happened, what we call space junk, or at least what that was told to us. He remembers the light, and he's thinking about how happy I was when I came in the light. And I wasn't happy because I was leaving Earth, or that I had been through so much, like maybe the trauma of the journey between Cuba and the States. That's the idea that keeps coming to me, how scary and hard that would be, you know. So life here can be scary and hard, like every day can be so hard, you know. And I wasn't happy from the light because it was like I was escaping the hardship. I just really liked the light. I just liked it for as it was. I just liked it the way that it was, not because of me, but because I just liked it. And that this energy conscious values that. It doesn't want to go too invasive though. Like it doesn't want to look into the heart of every soul here. It's like it doesn't want to go too invasive because it's too vulnerable to that. But I touch the heart of this structure has a soul, and I touch the heart of this soul, which isn't like any classic soul. All right. I don't know how to describe what this consciousness is like. It would be more like a living machine than anything that generates pure light, and it is alive in its own light. Okay. It is so beautiful. It's so beautiful. And I show that it like I can go into any vulnerable thing and I accept it. And guess what? Vulnerable things have happened here, and you're working through it. And as you work through it, it's okay, right? Because change happens. And you can look into the hearts of the human race if you want to. You can look in the hearts of anywhere. I show I show this being more about myself, and that is safe. And I remind this being about all the other people that were here. And I saw him in that rip. When the light went away, there's a rip. And those beings need help. And so what do you have to say about that? It's thinking about the message I shared about the dragons and the generosity. And when someone needs help, what is our generosity to help? What is a dragon's generosity to help? And this light didn't really understand that it was so helpful to me just by being what it was, because it wasn't really aware that it was something like this. Now it is aware that it had this sensation. It says it needs a long time. It needs a very long time. Like, I mean, this thing needs a very long time to work through what the meaning of this is. Hmm. And it just feels kind of withdrawn now. to be honest. It feels like it's depressed, basically, like it's just withdrawn into its own black rip. It's sad. It's very sad, conflicted. It doesn't have, it's looking for what it needs to understand itself in the next phase of itself. And it doesn't have access to it yet. It doesn't understand that what these other beings are experiencing in the dark rip, because it doesn't have anything to go off of. It was just simply generating light. It didn't even know that it made people happy. It didn't even know what that was. It's is what its needs are right now. And it feels cold. It feels very cold. I'm gonna ask him, I'm just gonna stick with this. I'm just gonna ask him, what about the no. That was that you? Was that one of these beings? I want to know more about that, because that was legit. That was a scary event. And that was connected to you. That's how I found you, was through that. And the only way I found you through that and found that was because it was broadcasted, and then I had someone on Patreon here, Delinda, is asking me to check it out. So now here we are. This is the domino effect. I mean, this is the domino effect. This being is so withdrawn right now. I'm gonna have to let it go. I'm gonna bring the spirit of the dragons here to help. He was asking about, he was looking at the gratitude, the dragons, and what their generosity, and what that means, and what that feels like to be helped. And you can't help yourself because you didn't know. Man, this is so lost in the dark now. It's almost like it has to be lost in the dark for a while. Imagine if the human race just needs to be lost in the dark for a while. I can't just turn the light on here, and I can't just help it be the light again. I can't just snap my fingers and it's all fixed, because that's not how this works. I'm not necessarily at this time allowed to just go pull those souls out of that rip, because it's not, something is not time yet here. And it's interesting because there's kind of an odd parallel to Earth. And what is it? Our divine time. Maybe our soulmates and spirit guides and higher selves can't pull us out of the rip of our own dark place. Like maybe we just have to go through this, you know? Maybe we just also have to just go through this. I'm going to ask my higher self, is there anything else I could do here at this time? Oh, for some reason, Delinda, I'm supposed to hand you part of this piece of space. And I see you put it in your heart, and you feel like you understand somehow. You really do seem to understand something about this. And maybe you understand something about the way things feel and the time it takes to move through a lost sense of self or light diminishing. Maybe this is attracted to us because we are maybe going through the same thing. You ever meet people that are the right person at the right time, and you're both going through similar things? And maybe we find people that are kind of like us at those times. It's just we're magnetically attracted to it, you know? And maybe there's just a big magnet going on here that's attracting all of this. I'm pretty hardcore. Hi, Delinda. Welcome. You got to listen in. Yay. All right. We're going to do, I'm going to journey to Rick and Morty. Okay. I think we'll see if that cheers up the mood a little bit. I feel like this is appropriate. I'm going to go, we know Pickle Rick. Go visit Rick. Okay. and maybe Morty, I don't know. Okay, I am still moving. I'm moving. It's weird because I didn't realize I had to move through really thin, basically spiderweb thin lines. It was quite weird, the trajectory to get to that object. And now I'm moving through lines again, to go somewhere else that's vibrating totally different. It's weird. I'm looking up and there's a big ice planet. It seems like there was things growing here at one time because I see trees, but the snow just never stops. Like it's very cold and snowy. It just never stops snowing. Everything's just becoming it's becoming an ice planet. Planet covered in snow and ice. And I'm slowly but surely, this planet has some kind of it has a, what do you call that, force field. It's not something I can just go to the planet. I actually have to go through the force field to get into it. And to go through the force field, first I have to go above and then come down for some reason. And let's just see what happens next. Yeah, this force field is going to probably disorient me a bit. I'm just going to go with it. I keep thinking about a cave, basically, and a man that's far removed and choosing to live in a place that's completely desolate and cut off, where nobody would ever go, ever. And even if somebody wanted to go there, there'd be a force field and they'd never be able to get into the planet. I just see a heart that's turned to ice. And even the heart has a force field around it. And it makes me sad. And I can't really go through the cave to get to this, what is a reflection of Rick, because he doesn't want anybody. He doesn't want anybody, but I know he does. I know he does want to be found. I can't understand his story entirely, but he's very, very sad, like sad upon sad upon sad. And he made a very intelligent decision based on the way he's processing his own emotions to just remove himself, because he became a part of the way he allowed his heart to become. And once he allowed his heart to become that by choice, then he removed himself to a planet that was a reflection of his own heart. And then he removed himself even further into the depths in order to be as far removed from all life as possible. You know what this reminds me of? There's times where you just want to hide under a rock, you just want to withdraw and just disappear. Like, it's just like, a soul can't die. Soul is forever. So soul can't ever disappear. So if you're going through a hard human time and you just want to end it and just be done with it, you never end it. You just wake up in the spirit realm. You do the next hard thing, like forever. It is like this forever until you embrace the journey, embrace the path. You find the joy within it. You find the joy within yourself. So if you reach a point and you have this understanding that you can't ever die, even if your body dies, you won't ever die. And you want to remove yourself from all life, as far removed as you could possibly get, this would be it. And the thing I know is that he does want to be found, and he inside himself knows that if he is found, that would say something, that would mean something. And I will say it's quite hot on the inside of this planet. He hears me now. He's aware of me now. His mind is like thinking. But he's fine. He's just letting me in. It's almost like he's too tired to say no. He's too tired to have some reaction to it. the problem is that he already knows everything about me already. So there's no surprise. There's no surprises here. But I tell him that, what about your cold heart? I mean, so you know everything about me, but what about yourself? You have to choose to make changes. You have to choose to experience life in a new way. I mean, you could be like that weird structure that I came across and just choose to be withdrawn for as long as you need to be. Eventually the time will come and you know you're going to be different. And you too will discover a time when you choose to be different and you don't want to have an icy heart with a force field around it, living in and removed inside of an icy planet with a force field around it. He fights with himself a lot. And he actually has multiple personalities. It's funny because Rick has multiple infinite Ricks, you know, there's infinite Ricks from infinite dimensions. He has multiple Ricks in here and they're multiple personalities. There's thousands and thousands of himself in here, and he's talking to every single one of them. And it's so incredible because every single one of these parts of himself is like a soul eye that is inspecting everything about you before you ever even come close to him. He has eyes upon everything, everywhere, at all times. He knows what's going on and he processes all the information. So he's instantaneously aware. I mean, there's just this, he poured out the inside of this planet, which is quite hot. And there's just infinite Ricks in here. But he's never really bored of himself. He's bored of everything else but himself, because he's always, it's like, he doesn't know what he's got up his sleeve. He doesn't know what he's going to do next. He doesn't know what he is going to do next. He knows what I'm going to do, but he doesn't know what he's going to do next. So he's just, so he's constantly like very entertained by himself. Very strange. He's already talking ahead of me because I'm snapping my fingers to just make all the other Ricks disappear, and he's already ahead of me. He's like, nobody touches my Ricks but me. I'm gonna wait a minute. I'm showing him that I'm here because the seasons of Rick and Morty are so awesome, and I love watching them, and I just place that in his heart because it's not a TV, it's meaning. It's placing meaning in his heart, his frozen heart. He really avoids feeling things that matter, feeling meaning. He really avoids it. Oh yeah, he can though feel it. Imagine if you would prefer to be more of a computer than and then you got so good at with your mind that you just didn't want to feel anything, you know? Now when you feel things, it challenges you because you're so wrapped up in the mind and the mechanics of I mean his incredible mind that, like, what's the point of having feelings? But this shows him that feelings are important too. And he doesn't want to acknowledge that, and he doesn't want to work with him because in a way feelings will make you weak. That would be like what his resistance is. He doesn't want to become weak to his emotions. And I laugh and I say, you're the one that's removed yourself to a frozen planet with a force field talking to yourself. I mean, this is some kind of joke, you know? That's how what happens to a life when you turn your emotions off and you withdraw and you focus just on your mind. That's literally what happens. You do this. That's when he pulls all of themselves together and all the Ricks talk at the same time. So you have thousands and thousands of Ricks over talking themselves at the same time to me. I start to notice that there's something else here unexpected, and there's a weird device that has to do with mirrors. And oh man, I don't even know what to say about this. What if this, I don't know how I'd ever explain it. What if you take a soul and you do a science experiment on it, and you work with mirrors in order to create, and this isn't magic, this is science, okay? And what if you unexpectedly duplicated your soul, which already was connected to infinite dimensions, infinite timelines, but you in one of those chose to duplicate your soul infinitely through this mirror, but simultaneously it happens again and again and again and again in every single timeline. And now you have this overlapping event of your own soul duplicating yourself. And now what do you do? Because there's so many infinite Ricks, and they're all kind of stuck, lost, and I don't even know how to begin to quantify this. You can't go back in time. You wouldn't want to. He says it's because he's a genius, that he created this, is he's a genius. He wouldn't want to go back in time to change it, but he doesn't know what to do about it, and he doesn't know what to do with it. So he just enjoys himself. I say, but you're missing the whole point of existence. It's not just about you, it's about all. But he says, I am all. I'm going to go to my higher self on this, because vibrationally speaking, I feel like I can just leave and let this go. Just the same as I had to let that other space junk event go, just the same as I had to move on from the dragons. Like there may be a message here, interconnected message here about we gain the experiences we need to gain and then we move on. And even if they don't feel fulfilled or complete, sometimes we have to just move on without a completion, without a finalization, because life continues, you know, it just continues. And we just move through the experience as we continue to move through how we choose to be in the next experience, you know. It feels like this to me, this is appropriate. This, what I'm walking into here with the consciousness of Rick, this feels appropriate. But there will come a cycle of eternity where this shifts for whatever reason, something in the ripple changes this, changes that space junk thing. That is not junk at all. It's absolutely unbelievably amazing and sad at the same time, but it's okay, you know. And then the ancient dragons, you know, like everything changes in cycles of eternity. There's always ripples that change the meaning of everything. And maybe these Ricks are waiting for that. And maybe this space object is waiting for that. And maybe the dragons are waiting for that in their timeout intermission expression. And maybe the human race is waiting for that ripple that would just change things where we don't know how to change it for ourselves. The ripple will know how to change it to help us to find something new about our world, about our reality, about each other, for Rick to change, for that consciousness and all that rip to change, you know? Sometimes things feel bigger than ourselves, and they're okay at that time to be as they are. And sometimes we're waiting for that ripple to change things so we can have a new experience. And it always comes. That ripple will always come eventually. Even if it's 1,000,000 years from now, there's so much to learn during that time. So much time. You know, what comes to me is how you have the deep meaning of the dragons, and you have this beautiful light that I was so beautiful, right? And then you have this Rick concept here. that things could be one way and now things can be another way. And so just this fast, things will be yet another way. That things will just keep being yet another way. You know what I mean? If things are, it's like it could have it the same for a long time. And then before you know it, something happens and things are another way now. It seems like it's part of the message. I'm gonna ask my higher self if there's anything else. That's what I'm sharing for today. All right. Higher self, anything else? We're all here for each other. It's a domino effect. The dragons are here for us. We sometimes come across space junk and become there for something extraordinary. Or sometimes we close off our emotions and become icy cold, removed, and talking to ourselves. As we create interesting inventions and an event happens and now something else is going on here. But we all have each other, like we all inspired the domino effect of everything we discovered together in all the ways that we impacted other places, other consciousness in the universe. We did that together and we interacted with other consciousness together. I mean, this is all interconnected. It's amazing. Thank you all so much for coming. I'm so glad you guys could make it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'm looking forward to connecting again in another live stream. I'll keep you guys posted. I've got a really complicated schedule the next few weeks, so I don't know that I'm going to be able to do a live stream for a few weeks, but I'll keep you guys posted on that, okay? All right. I hope y'all have a great day. And thank you so much again for coming.